Hey y'all, it's your girl Ashanti Makita back with Down to Earth, better known as DTE. Y'all, it's been a while. I will brief you all really quick on some things and some things I can't speak on right now just because I really want to move in silence and not say too much about it. But in a little time that we have missed for the last few months, I have turned 30 years old. I went to Egypt for my 30th birthday. That was amazing. It was my entire family, me, my husband, the children, and my parents, because it was also their 30th anniversary. Anyway, we're in the process of buying a house, me and my husband, and we've been going through the process. We've already moved from our apartment complex. We're staying with my parents temporarily. We had some things we had to do with our credit score and stuff, and I don't mind speaking on it because, hey, we're all, anybody, I don't want to come off to you guys like, oh, everything is so perfect in my life and shit like that, because that defeats the whole purpose of this being down to earth. That is not the case. No, our credit wasn't the best, but we did it, y'all. For the last few months, we have been buckling down, not buying things, not putting anything else on our credit reports. We've been paying things off, and we finally gotten the score we needed to get what we wanted. And so, yay, we're there. So y'all gotta wish me luck. I don't know what's gonna happen, but house time should be coming soon. Other than that, that's all I'm gonna say for now. 30 Egypt house, and then let's move on with the subject for today, and I will keep you guys posted on anything else new that's happening. I just don't want to jinx it, okay? All right, so moving on. So I was sitting back and I was thinking about, I was having a conversation, and I was thinking about how we have, in high school, they tell you that they're preparing you for adulthood. So you have like a home ec class for the guys. I don't know the name of them, y'all. It's been a while since I've been in high school, but I remember like, that was like, for the men, they had like, I don't know, like what classes that were, they're like, it's like mechanics or, I don't know. I just know all the guys went to this particular workshop or whatever. They had the class for them. They had a cooking class. They, your regular English, math, whatever. But what I noticed that we do not have, and if you're preparing us for adulthood, this is important. We don't have a class on how to stay married. We don't. The emphasis has never been on, you would teach us how to cook. It's okay to be a stay-at-home mom. You teach the guys to go out there. You're supposed to work, grunt work, whatever. And nope, nothing. You separate-wise, yes. But then there is no class if you're preparing us for true adulthood, because most people, when they graduate, they're 18 years old. I was 17, only because we graduated in June. My birthday was in November, so I turned 18. But most of my classmates were 18. Some were going on 19. So we're adults. Why would you not be preparing us for marriage? Because right now in America, it is I'm not going to lie to you guys. I can't remember the statistics on it, but we all know that the divorce rate in America is ridiculous. I mean, you don't even have to look up statistics. Look at the few people that you know that are married, or the few people that you know that got divorced. You probably know more people that were married and divorced than you know married and stayed together. It's almost impossible. And no one told us that. This is what they did. They gave us fairy tales, okay? On men and women parts, both parts. They gave us fairy tales. They gave us the movies that, let you think that someone's going to come and sweep you off your feet and you're a princess and you are a queen and all that. But they didn't show you flaws. They never told you that, hey, you have arguments. Okay, you get upset at one another. You may not talk for a few days. You may be unhappy. You know what they didn't tell you? That someone told me, my parents told me, if you make it past 3 years, you can make it through anything. Okay, so I waited, and in those 3 years, and you go through hell and back sometimes. Some people, marriages are easier than others, and I'm not saying stay in something toxic. I'm not trying to convince anyone to stay in any relationship, if you're completely unhappy. But what I am saying is, being unhappy comes with the territory of being happy in the long term for a lifetime. Do you really think, you argue with your friends, you argue with your mother, you argue with your father, you get in debates with your family or whatever. It does not stop you from loving them. It doesn't make you say you never want to see them again or anything like that. So it works the same when you marry. Same thing with guys. You don't, whatever expectation you had of a woman, or, oh, you're just going to be like, Sally, Susie May, and sit at home and cook, and life's going to be great, and I'm going to work, and we're going to have 2 children with the picket fence. And yeah, I mean, that may work for some. okay? But the majority, no. You need two people to work. Or if you do have someone that's not working, it gets stressful. You are going to have those days that, you may come home and she didn't cook, or, he didn't do something you asked, or whatever that looks like. But no one taught us how to stay together. No one said, hey, once you get married, this is how you stay married. No, the emphasis is on our looks. So women spend the majority of time, you're trying to make sure your breast sits right and your butt is right and everything, and your waist is snatched and blah, 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 blah. And for guys, okay, I'm supposed to work, blah, but no one, after all of that is gone, after the facade is gone, and all that, then what? I mean, we're literally taught to have more emphasis on the wedding itself than the marriage. The wedding. I know people that spend ridiculous money on weddings, and this is not a knock. I mean, spend whatever you want. It's your money. I don't give a damn. But I said that to say, spent all this money on a wedding and didn't last a year. Didn't last 2 years. It took them longer to plan the wedding than it did for them to get divorced. You know why? Because we're not taught to stay married. Where we watch, the TV shows and marriage, and you think that, I look at that beautiful wedding, and you see the doves and the music playing and all this crazy, expensive, beautiful things, and it's movie. And after the wedding, then what? You have marriage. Now here is the real deal. Now it's time to learn one another. You all do realize that you're a person, and the person that you married is a person. And so you are trying to do this. Become one. Do you know how difficult that is? Do you know how difficult it is to have a person that has a personality that has nothing to do with you? You all might have things you agree and disagree, but for the most part, you have your own personality. You've been through your own things in life. You've had your own troubles and things in life, and therefore those things that you've been through have shaped you. And so it's the same for your partner. So you're taking his thoughts and personalities and ways he feel about things, and you're taking hers, and then you're saying, how do we get here to become one? That is difficult. It is not easy. I don't know why in the hell they didn't tell us that. I don't know why they didn't say, hey, it's going to take a little stick-to-itness, and it's going to be a little rough, but at the end, it's beautiful. When you see couples that's been married 30 years like my parents, or 60, 70, whatever that looks like, 25, I don't give a damn, 10 years, whatever that looks like, and they're all happy. It's about the happy ones, okay? I know some that's not, but they're all happy. You guys, I parked already, so I'm taking my seatbelt off. And you see them, and they almost seem like newlyweds. You're like, oh, look at them, they're so sweet, they're so cute, and whatever. And do you know the bullshit they've been through? Do you know the things that their trials and tribulations? Do you know that? Like, you see that at the end, but you're not willing to put in the work. And this, honestly, it's not our fault. No one told us we had to put this much work. No one, see, I had my parents to explain it to me, and everybody don't have that. So for the rest of us, we went into this blindly. If you didn't have that advice, if you didn't have someone telling you things, and it seems so small, but it's so important to know that they say the first 3 years of your marriage are rough. The reason they say if you can make it through those 3 years, because for those 3 years, you guys were doing this. And you are arguing, and you're fighting, and why don't you put your clothes where I tell you to, and why don't you do this, and why haven't you done that? And then you get to a point, and you're here. You ain't here yet, but you're here. And so you understand that this is what he likes, and you understand that this is what she likes, and this is what she wants from me, and this is what he wants from me. And we agreed that we're going to do this with the children, and you're going to do this, and this is how we're going to raise them. And so as you all are doing that, you're slowly becoming one, because we finally figured out what works. You've done the number one thing: compromised. Nobody said compromise is the biggest fucking thing in marriage, because you have a way of doing it, and he has a way of doing it. And now you all have to figure out how the hell to do the same thing and accomplish the same goal while you both are happy with the decision made. Compromise. So simple. But no one tells us. They don't. They tell you how to cook. They tell you how to be smart. They tell you to conduct yourself like a young lady. They tell you to, present yourself. Make sure that you learned how to cook, because a man likes for you to cook. And make sure you know how to clean, because you got to be a clean woman. And make sure this. And they told you that separate. And then they told the men, you got to work. You have to provide. You have to do this. Okay, great. That's all outside shit. So if he never was getting married, guess what? He was going to work. If he's a working type of guy, he's going to work and provide for himself, even if he wasn't. Guess what? For that woman, if you're going to be whatever it is you're going to be and go to school and you're cooking and cleaning, you would have had to learn to do that anyway, right? So you all have those. Now you're coming together. It is so much bigger than cooking and cleaning. It is so much bigger than providing. Because there are marriages where the man is providing, the woman is cooking, she's cleaning, all that, and they're miserable as shit. Because marriage is bigger than cooking and cleaning. I know people that don't cook and fucking clean and marriage is happy, because it's so minute. It's so at the bottom of what marriage is as a whole that it's like, And I sit back and I'm like, if you're preparing us for adulthood, if home ec is a part of that and workshops for the men and all that, then why not marriage? Why not let us know that, it is something, that you are learning to become one? Why, when you all put out everything in the world, all of these, think about it, all the TV shows we ever watched, even back down to like, you guys, if you remember, this was my era, but if you remember like Boy Meets World, remember how they were all lovey-dovey all through like grade school and all through high school, and then they got married. And so that's what you think. Like, they don't have arguments, everything's great, because that's TV. It's supposed to go that way. They're not supposed to show you every, I guess, little single flaw, whatever, which is why I really, really loved My Wife and Kids. I liked My Wife and Kids because to me it was realistic. It showed you a different side. And whether you were like, oh, she petty or he petty, this is what happens. If you are a type of person that's been a stay-at-home mom and you finally get to the point, like my mother got to that point where, my children are getting too old. I'm not trying to, I have no children to be staying at home for. So they go out and there's an episode where like she wants to go back to school and everything and he's just not feeling it. That's real, people. It doesn't make him a bad guy. The reality of it is there are people having this exact argument because their husbands have gotten used to them being home all the time. And now this is a new change and he has to learn that compromise. But I like the show because it's always one of them having to compromise. But they're a loving couple. They love each other. But they've learned something that was never taught to us. They learned how to be married and get past the wedding. That's why the majority of people that have been married for a long time, I guarantee you, ask them where they got married. The majority of them tell you City Hall. You asked all the divorced ones, where'd you get married? They had the big $10,000 wedding and blah, 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 because you were infatuated with TV wedding. You weren't infatuated with the marriage part of it. You're infatuated with the wedding. And my personal opinion, I think I can't speak for all or whatever, but I think a lot of divorces could be saved if they understood that it is okay to temporarily dislike your partner. It's normal. It comes with the process, but no one told us. So what we think? Oh, I don't know why I did this. Why did I get married? I don't even think I love him. It's time for a divorce. Guess what? You know what they didn't tell us? It's a normal feeling. Do you know how many times I was like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? Why? Do you know how many times he's asked himself, did I marry the right person? Is this who I'm supposed to have my children? Whether he ever tells me that, and I've never told him, but I know that he did. I know because I've done it, because we've had arguments, because that's not abnormal, people. It is okay. It does not mean you have to run and get a divorce just because you're not sure of what you did. You're supposed to be unsure. You know why? This is supposed to be for the rest of your life. Okay? It's called being scared, but they don't teach you that it's okay to get scared. They tell you, okay, the cold feet part before the wedding, but what if you don't have a wedding? What if you never got the cold feet? What if you went to City Hall and it just seemed all normal? They don't tell you that cold feet that's afterwards. That feeling of if you don't have any children and you get pregnant, you're like, oh my God, and I have to depend on you. You're going to help me. How do I know you're going to help me? And your hormones are over the place and he's new and he's scared because he's about to be a father. They don't tell you all that. And then so now you're panicking. Now you all are like, you know what? We've been unhappy for 2 months. This isn't working. Let's get a divorce. Please, do you know how many times my parents were unhappy? What matters and what they don't tell you is it depends on how many unhappies to happy. And if you question a lot of divorced people, I guarantee you they had more happies than unhappies, but they focused on the non-happies and said it's ground for divorce. No, it's not. The only way, in my opinion, again, opinions are like assholes, is if your unhappiness is here and your happiness is here, and or down here. I'll be like, okay, well, no, you all are just not working. But you ever notice why some divorced people, they'll break up and then they can't even stop messing with each other? Because you're meant to be, you just didn't know how to be. And I blame the school. If you're gonna prepare us, goddammit, prepare it all. We can take nursing classes and start taking courses in colleges while we're in high school to prepare us for our future careers. And making sure but what happened to our future after the career? After the cooking and after the cleaning, then a part of adulthood is getting married and having children, right? I mean, hell, you even have a CPR class, you even have a baby class where you will let us take whatever little, I know on TV they say an egg or whatever. I never had an egg, but I never actually took the class. But when the class was happening, they were letting you take real babies, and you couldn't like pull the pin out and it cried or whatever. You guys know what the hell I'm talking about. Every school's different. I guess on TV they use an egg, but I've never seen nobody use an egg. They gave baby dolls or whatever. But you'll teach us how to have a baby by our damn self. But you won't teach us how to be married and committed and faithful to one another, and teaching the man that women are going to go through hormones and they are going to do this and they're going to say things that they don't mean, and it is okay because you're going to be there for her, and that, hey, you need to be there for him, that just because he is the man don't mean that he doesn't have feelings, and he's going to have moments where he's going to need you more than ever. When they say behind every good man is a good woman, yeah, it is. Because he needs you just as much as you need him. And that is what they do not teach us. Nobody told us that it is okay to feel lost after marriage. That it's okay to feel that you made the wrong decision temporarily. It is okay to go to marriage counseling. It is okay to have thoughts of divorce and don't act on them. It's okay to go to your spouse and say, hey, I feel this way, and what can we do? They didn't tell us that. And even though I had my parents, I had to learn a lot of shit on my own. Because guess what? Each marriage is different. There is nothing nobody can tell you advice that's going to work for you. What worked for my parents won't work for me. What works for me won't work for my daughter. Hell, what works for me probably won't work for you all. But find what works. And so it's almost hitting 20 minutes. I'm not trying to just drag on and on, but I really just was sitting back and I was like, isn't it sucky that out of everything you teach us in high school to prepare us, you prepared us to be single moms and just don't get pregnant in high school, but you didn't prepare us to be to our full potential. No knock to school, but we could go further. If we can have the home ec classes and you can teach us how to be lawyers and nurses and doctors and homemakers and whatever it is that you're teaching, then a part of that course should be teaching men and women how to stay married, how to live life after the wedding. Because if you can't afford a wedding, then what? You go to City Hall and then what? And marriage falls apart in 6-7 months? Probably not, because the City Hall people, you guys kind of understand that importance. But people do not get caught up into weddings and forget that you have to be married. And like I said, this wasn't really like a knock on you guys. It wasn't even a knock on the school. Okay, it's kind of a knock on the school. It's saying do better. Shit, I'm not gonna lie. It's down to earth. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a knock on you guys. But it was something to think about. Like, yo, we should think about that. Like, damn. No, you're right. No one taught us how to be married. For those that lasted, kudos. Understand you did that shit by yourself because nobody taught it to us, okay? So kudos to you all that made it. If you have not made it, kudos to you anyway, because you stepped out there, you made the effort to attempt it, and it just didn't work. But I don't know. I hope this helps somebody, goddammit, to know that it's okay. Whatever feelings you having or concerned about, it's okay. Talk it over with your spouse and be completely honest with each other. It's okay to have whatever feeling you feel, because I probably haven't experienced a certain feeling you felt. And if you're asking yourself, well, is this normal? It probably is, because it may be, there is no handbook to this, but it would have been nice for the school to prepare us to be married, right? Well, anyway, opinions are like assholes. I can still be wrong. We all know that. As usual, please be nice to the people in the comments. I have been noticing that people have been leaving comments, by the way, and I can see them in my notification, and then when I go to respond, it's gone. So I don't know if you guys are deleting them or what's happening, but don't, like, I am going to respond. I want to respond. This is a, you know, you might give me a different perspective. I'm not here to argue anything. I'm just, I don't know, I'm just having a conversation. Hell, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Shit, you know, you get tired of talking to babies all day. Talk to some adults. You know, this is my me time. Get my coffee. But like I said, be nice to the people in the comments. And remember, opinions are like assholes. We all have them, including mine. So, you know, until next time. And just remember, you all, we are all imperfectly perfect. All right? It's been a while. I'm so happy to be back. So we'll be having combos sooner than later.